welcome back to Set Your Soul on Fire. We are back with season 3 after quite an extended break, but we're back. New logo, new season, but the same voice, same fire, and I am so excited to be joined today with the podcast sponsor, Marc Watters. Welcome to the podcast, and thanks for letting me use your snazzy office. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. No problem at all.
Buzzing to get this done. We have been talking about this for
it's been in the works for a while. Yep.
Yeah, a long time, and like life.
We're both laughing there. Yeah.
life for both of us, and I think when one of us was ready, the other one.
No, there's always something on the way, wasn't there? Never a good time, but
no, it's the way it goes, and you have to ride with it. But you're very, very welcome, and I thought. I've been holding off, kind of starting season 3, and I was like, I need to get to it, and then I was like, why not start it off?
That's it. It's never a perfect time, and perfect guest too. I understand,
You're going to set the bar.
I'm a pro now. I've done one other one.
You're a professional podcaster now. You're going to lead. I'm just aim for the cold waters.
It's a joke. Yeah.
So look, why don't we? There's lots of things I want to cover today, but why don't we dive into who you are? What do you do? Tell my listeners all about you.
Yeah. So Marc Watters, now known as Marc Watters Construction Coach. So multiple business owner. Sort of I would class myself as an entrepreneur really. With multiple different businesses in different industries, but the main focus has been for a long time, my whole working life has been the construction industry. So now the construction coach aspect is construction business coaching, where I help successful construction business owners build a thriving life. So transition from tradesman to business owner and show them how to build an efficient business.
Because there's a big difference in that, isn't there? Like, you can be really good on tools, but actually running a business is completely different.
Night and day. I know there is other industries, but obviously I'm biased with construction, so I only speak for construction. But generally you can be very, very good at what you do, your trade, your discipline, your craft, and then organically then you run into having your own business because you're very good at what you do. It just kind of is what happens naturally in our industry, and nobody prepares you for business. Like most guys in the industry have left school like I did at 16 years of age with minimal education, and their education has been, they grew up through building sites and the trade background. So all of a sudden they've got a business and they're now a business owner, but like no one's helped them with that transition or maybe showed them how to do that, because we spoke before this about avenues of investing and different things, but construction's just like no issues getting to work because you're good at what you do, so the work floods in, then before you know it you have guys working for you, you have vans on the road, you have maybe premises, insurances, and then your accounts, everything else. There's a lot to take on there, but the issue with the construction is why most of the guys are the be-all and end-all of their business. So in most other industries there's usually another path to follow or an example there for like, okay, so this is where I worked before and this is how they done it, and they have a management system, and then I need to bring in this person. It's the kind of, I'm gonna say most people probably in other industries kind of know what steps to take in some way, shape or form, and it's very comparable. But in the construction industry, whether you're domestic or you're commercial, two different aspects of the game, but it's like naturally you are getting into work, pricing the work, doing the work, and then following up on the work and dealing with complaints and the team. Like, so you're everything. You are the one-stop shop. And what I'm trying to get into my guys is that you almost, to have a successful business, you almost need to be the least important person in the business. In other words, everything needs to be run and operated without your every input and every facet.
Well, it needs to be that you can step out and the business doesn't fall apart. That's the issue, is that when you are so ingrained in being in the business every single day and every item of it can't really function without you.
It completely consumes you, and you're leaving so much on the table. So generally what happens when you're in that position, or maybe you're not in that position, maybe you've got a bit of a team, but you've brought people in out of what I call panic hiring. So anybody you have brought in, you brought them in a panic, like, I need help, because you always, in our game, you always seem to be a step behind, and you're always firefighting. So it's like you're maybe behind on a job, or you're running to try and get materials, or get something. There's one phone call in our game as well could just ruin your week, or a month or whatever, or like one late payment and things. Like, our industry is plagued with a lot of negative things like that, like non-payments and hostile staff and stuff like that, because our guys, like it's not, it is a different world in my opinion. Maybe anyone outside construction might not see that, but anybody in construction will listen to what I'm saying and go, yeah, 100%. So it's just a different world, a different environment, and it's just one where it could be very. It's just as well, like historically, like generationally, like it's always just been the way it's been. And nobody has really came along to say this is wrong. How you're doing business in this game is wrong.
Yeah.
Your approach to business is wrong. It's not day by day, job by job. You need to look at this from a higher level and go, cash forecast. What are my numbers? How are things looking? Who am I hiring? Why am I hiring? Is this model, or like if you say to somebody, the construction business, the business model, they go, what do you mean? You go and do the work and then you get paid and then you move on. Like that's not a business model. That is a job.
That's survival.
It's survival mode. So that's, I identified that a long time ago, because obviously I came from the tools. I've worked my way up through the industry. I had my own business to begin with, so done my apprenticeship, had my own business, and very quickly realised that I have no idea what I'm doing here. No idea. But it was just again that that natural, organic development in our industry is you get your trade, and if you're if you're driven, if you want to be successful, if you're ambitious, I want to run my own business. Like most people get in the trade for that reason. Like I get my own van, work for myself.
Yeah.
But no one prepares you for now I'm out on my own, so where I have to go and get the work, then I have to sit at night and price the work, and then during the day I have to do the job. That's where most people start. You know what I mean? Unless they've got they've been preparing for a long time, it's a different approach. But it's very few and far between. Generally, that is the steps it takes. So I took that step and then went to myself, wow, I have no idea, and this isn't the life that I wanted. Actually, I thought being out on my own was me on my own terms, and it's not. I'm actually probably, if you calculate the hours I'm putting in, the input against the output, I'm earning peanuts here. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I need to learn how to do this right, and there was nothing out there. Then you're talking. I'm show me age here now, but you could be talking 15 years. I look old as fuck, but I'm not, believe it or not.
You used to have more hair.
I've had a tough life, maybe we'll say. That's the construction industry. But no, so I thought the only way to do this is to go back to the drawing board and learn off somebody else.
But fair play for having that self-awareness.
Yeah.
You could have just kept your head down and went, this is, you could have went, this is life.
Yeah.
This is just the cards that I'm dealt. I just have to keep doing it.
Yeah, and I suppose I probably didn't know I had any of that sort of awareness until now looking back, you know what I mean, as you go through life. But I've always maybe never picked the easiest path, but always somehow found a way to get there in the end, you know what I mean? So
and your mind works, there's always a solution.
Yeah.
I think when you're you're good with you're a person that is practical, you always find an answer. My dad always says that, never be yet, and that's his line, and that has carried me through. There's always an answer, and I'm a real practical person, so when something breaks on the farm, I'll be right, how can we fix it? You find a way, rather than going into a blind panic, but you have had self-awareness, didn't know what it was, but you only figure that out, we only see that as we actually move through the journey.
And you have an awareness of what awareness is. Mindset, before that you're just winging it, you don't really know what you're doing. But it's just always had a lot of drive in that way. But went into the corporate world and then got really hungry for that, because again I could see there was a pathway to success and getting to the top. So that's what I done, put the head down, climbed the corporate ladder and got there very, very quickly, at a very young age as well. So but through that's how I sort of came. It was a long-winded way of telling you how I come up with the concept of the blueprint program. It was obviously I learned what I enjoyed through my journey through the industry of every sort of being in every aspect of the industry was I enjoyed solving problems, and I enjoyed if there was stages or steps to a certain task, I was like, we could definitely make this more efficient, more streamlined. There's definitely has to be a better way of doing this. And I always just found everything we're doing, I could never understand. I'm one of these people that someone tells me how to do something, I'll always ask why. Why do we do it that way or whatever else?
Just for your understanding.
Just very inquisitive that way, but I have to understand why I'm doing something to do it. Obviously that's just a practicality way of the way I am, but I suppose in asking, and I could never accept that that's just the way it was. This is just how we do it. And I'm going, but this doesn't. This is way more difficult than it needs to be. And then that was how I sort of a couple of these wee different things like trackers and whatever else, and you know, forms to do, and like things that just try and make things more efficient and less steps of communication, because it's very clunky. There's a lot of management and aspects in the construction industry, especially in bigger business. Like there's a manager for everything, and a meeting about a meeting, and it's like sitting in meetings going like, I spoke about this already. Like we've been talking about this for 2 hours. We could move on now, you know.
Yeah.
But I suppose having people working for me over the years, and I was paying them a lot of money, and from on the outside looking in, they should have had successful businesses. Like these guys were like self-made, and they were like, they built teams around them, and I was going, wow, like this is like, I was admiring going, it's brilliant, because that's sort of where I was then. We're talking 5-6 years away from when I got into them, and I was, that's kind of where I wanted to be at. So it's brilliant, and got friendly with a lot of people, and then when you met them and you spoke to them and you learned them on a personal level, it was like they were miserable. And they had no idea, like you were paying them tenfold, but it was all went straight back out again. They had no control over their finances, they had no time for their personal life, for their family, and had no idea, like they were out of control of their own business. So like you took them out of the equation and the business no longer operated, and also everyone in the business was alone themselves. Like their employees were driving them and, you know, sort of forcing them into doing things, and they were almost scared of like
beholden to them when they're in charge.
And they were afraid of putting the foot down and doing things their way, or like correcting people of fear of losing them, because again the industry is one of those industries where you could leave a job and go to another job, and there's a massive skill shortage too. So there's that fear about losing good guys and just giving them whatever they want and letting them do whatever they want, because it was like, but if I don't any leave, then that's going to leave me up shit street, because then I won't get this job finished. And
constant fight or flight.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So the program is built on building, the blueprint program is the concept I come up with of the core of it is building a thriving life. And it's like you can have that life out, like with a construction business where everybody came to me, everyone I spoke to, it was like they had no time, no idea about their profits, or maybe they weren't making money that they should be making, and they had no control. So it was time, profit, and control. So that's the core of the blueprint program, is a thriving life, and then those are the 3 elements around it. So that's sort of the concept I come up with. And then I built a program around that, so there's delivering results for high quality clients with a streamlined organisation. So when my clients come to me, that's what they receive, that's what they leave with. So
well, I've been really, like, we met, I don't remember when we met, was it last year?
Probably in the water somewhere,
I was trying to think of this this morning when I was farming. I was like, when did we meet? I was like, I think it was in the sea.
It's been a few years now, like.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, but I was always impressed by your drive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know an awful lot about the construction industry, but your drive was something that, and your passion for it was so evident. Where did the drive come from?
So, I believe it's hard to put any sort of finger on it, but so my parents had their own business as I was growing up, and both parents were always very, like, you know, always, from what I could see, from the, obviously as you get older you don't realise this, but they had their own business for a long time, and you just sort of assumed that everything was going well. But as you get older you realise it wasn't, and then they had I don't know what I should say or what I shouldn't say, but they had a difficult time with that in the end. It didn't end very well, and so it ended well, but they tried to go again in a different type of business. Very long story about it, and it didn't work out. So everything went from going like so well to so not so well. And now, don't get me wrong, my parents never at any point in time did they sacrifice anything for us. So it was almost as if they had both sides of the coin. Struggled like all the way up to that point. Got the business like when I was older, like I heard stories about like how it was a cafe in the town, restaurant in the town, Hardy's Bistro was called, if anybody knows it, probably one, yes. So you know where Fountain Lane? It's now Pre-Mark in the middle of the town. So they were in there for 14 years, and long story short, the landlord like obviously got an offer to take the whole building. Belfast Inn was just for empty space, you know, all upstairs all empty, and pretty much the rents and all put up, the rents put up to try and get them out, to get somebody else in, a new tenant was going to take the whole building, and Belfast obviously changed a lot since then. So you're talking like in the late 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. So they left that, and sort of like that was a really successful business, and it went really well, but they never started like that. So I would tell me stories about how my dad was sitting in the cabinet just going, I hope that door opens, because if it doesn't, we're in trouble. So like naturally, obviously, like I'd never seen any of that part. They've obviously kept me from that, but I always just seen the business running, and I was always involved in it. I remember like even as a kid, like on a Sunday when the town was dead, me playing football in Fountain Lane or up down on a skateboard or something while they were in there like playing the grass. But I always loved to be involved in what they were doing. So I suppose the work ethic definitely came from them. You know, they built that themselves and were very successful with it, and probably subconsciously then I inherited that from them. But it's funny because it's only me and my brother. My brother is very different. He's the opposite. So it's just obviously, but again, the focus and drive.
He's a music.
He's a musician, so he's an artist.
He's a creative.
So I'm the grafter, and he's more the creator. I'm like,
basically calling your brother out for not being a hard worker. Is that what you're doing?
What I will say is, like, I've always admired him for what he's done, because he has done what everybody dreams of doing. Is like found his love and his passion, done it as a hobby, and has made a life of it. Like, he's older than me, so he's just dedicated his life to that, and it's worked for him. So like, I've always had so much admiration for that. Whereas most of us sort of went, oh, that's not working, we'll go and get a job now, you know what I mean?
But he stuck, staying true to that. That's it. It was
non-negotiable for him.
That takes grit. Like.
So that's I'm saying. So like, there was a lot of hard work and pain through that. What I meant was just the practical side of things, and me working with my hands, and you know, but like, so obviously subconsciously got that from them, I think. You know.
I don't think it's a bad thing either. Like my work ethic is 100% came from my mum and dad. They're the same. Ran businesses like a chip shop, a restaurant, a farm. I grew up, and I think you ingrained that.
Yeah.
Don't you? Like?
And I've thought about this whole thing a few times, because I've had these sort of similar conversations, but like I've asked myself that question before. Like maybe when things didn't go well in the end, you know, the determination and grit through that was like, but then they went a different route and just thought, you know what, there's too much at stake here, and then they just went and got, you know, both in employment and whatever else, which I don't think was what they ever wanted to do, but they done it for our sake, and you know, that was a lot at stake and whatever else. But maybe then subconsciously seeing that, I was like, no, I'm definitely gonna do it a different way, you know, and seeing, I don't know, maybe it's hard to maybe put a finger on, but
I think we learn so much we absorb so much when we're wee, and we don't realise what we're absorbing. But it's okay for us to go and find our own way within that as well. Like, you know, I have been in family businesses for most of my life. I've been involved in every business that my parents have done, and I'm now making moves to not be, which is difficult. Like, and that's a change for everybody. But I have to find my own.
Yeah, and I suppose it's learning, it's taking what you want to, but it's also learning from the good and the bad. I think that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like
it's the amount of skills that I have now because of all of those things and the experiences. That just strengthens me, and it's how I look at it then. You know, what did I learn? What can I take forward? You've learned watching your parents work and put their heads down and provide. You do that for your family. Like, I know family is massively
it's
important.
at the core,
It is at the core. Like, that's, I would hand on heart say that's your biggest driver.
100%.
Is Margaret Rose and the kids. So take the business out of it. Who are you behind that? Like
a father, first and foremost, I would say a father and a provider. Really, like, I know that's sort of related to business, but like, you know, it's again, parenthood is a funny one to navigate. I obviously have been given a great example. Like, my upbringing was fantastic. My parents were amazing, you know, and like, I've always took a lot from that. And obviously maybe my expectations were then very high, do you know what I mean, for what I want to do for my kids. But I suppose they've led by example, and I've taken that from my upbringing. But I just, you know, it is a hard one to navigate. Parenthood can be difficult, especially with just everything going on. But like, I suppose just wanting the best for them, but leading by example too, and showing them what's possible is important to me. It's not good enough just to say like you can be anything you want to be or blah blah blah. You have to show them like I'm doing whatever I want and I'm successful from it. And you know, I think even more now as Casey Rose is the eldest, she's 15 going to GCSE, she's looking at like career stuff, and I don't know what I want to be. And I was like, 6 months ago I only launched another business because I still wasn't happy with what I was doing. So like, and I'm 34, so it's like, you know, you might never know what you want to do, but the point is you just keep trying to find what it is you enjoy. You know, this whole thing about need to get a job, and you're like, balls.
Expecting kids to also know what they want at that age. I mean, I didn't know, like, It's mad, the pressure that's put on them, and
Yeah.
I think it's actually worse. I think it's got worse now,
Mhm.
the pressure that's put on them.
I think
To
because where we grew up, as we grew up, you know, where we grew up in Northern Ireland and Ireland or whatever else, but like, you know, you didn't see so much success around you as you do now. Of what, so like, you
What's
know,
possible.
so now there's a huge pipe dream of like what's possible, and a lot of it is almost false. It's a false narrative.
Yeah.
Like my middle wee lad, like he's 11, and he's going to be, Daddy, did you see such and such? Did you hear this? And I'm going, where did you hear that? YouTube? And he's going, son, it's probably the biggest pile of shit you've ever heard in your life. And like, but so they're getting fed this false narrative and
Yeah.
what's possible and how it's achievable. And yeah, it's important to dream, but you also, people are saying they got X, Y, and Z through this, that, and the other, and it's not true. You know, shortcut and not showing the real side of it. So I think that's what's important. And again, I'm sort of reverting back to success and career. That's what I always do. I always revert back to that. But I suppose just showing them what's possible, and you know, you just want the best for your kids. Like, you know what I mean? As you do, and you just want to lead by example, not just because that whole saying of like say what I say, not what I do, and all this kind of. It's like your kids will do exactly what just follow on from exactly
Like
what
what
you're
you've
doing.
done with your, like, we do follow on from what we've learned. Your kids are going to watch you showing up for them. Because I know, like, you've good rituals. I know this, like,
Yeah.
you know, your Sunday non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Are you taking the kids? Like, do you take them to school? That was a
Oh,
big
yeah,
thing.
that was a dream of mine. Like
Wasn't it?
that's what I'm saying. So I think a lot of that came from being too, where I wasn't always there because I was always dedicated. Like so like it was. We went through a lot of hard times. If I was dedicating, I had blinkers on, dedicating my life to climbing that corporate ladder because I wanted. From what I used to say was I wanted to provide this life for them. But in the meantime, like what we touched on before this, I was missing out so much. And they, like Margot and the kids, if you ask them, would you want me to go away and for blah blah and do this and then have this at the end of it, or would you like me to be there every day? They're going, I want to be here every day. Like, do you know what I mean? So they don't really care. So I suppose that makes it more difficult because you're trying to do both, and that can be very difficult. It can be
Finding
very
a balance.
yeah, but the balance sometimes, like I've heard people say balance doesn't exist, and I almost agree in terms of balance is very difficult to get, but almost you have to sort of, it's the awareness, it's portioning your time up and where it needs to be at a certain time, and I think that's what's more possible. I think balance is always going to be
Imbalanced.
yes, and you're always fighting the balance. But I think when you
Yeah.
like, I'm not an overthinker. That's one thing I'll say. Like, I'm just very like I used to be, but like I've just came to things now where like I know because I know you maybe take a very different approach of like you're very in tune with feelings and emotions and things like that. Where I'm maybe not. Like I'm very just like get on with it, you know.
Yeah.
Which good or bad, but it works for me. I found it works for me, and that works for me. But it's like that balance. Awareness is key, and it's like knowing when right. I have been away here now for like on Tuesday. I was at home for nearly 2 weeks. Then on Tuesday, I came in here for 12 hours and just burned through it all because it needed to be done. And everybody knew and everybody understands. And then you're home the next day, and then you know what I mean. So it is like a balance. Sometimes it is like push or pull or whatever else, but the awareness is key.
Yeah, and it is that awareness thing. Balance was always this thing that I didn't have, you know. I sat in burnout for so long, and it's funny you say that, you know, awareness of my feelings not there. That's only new, you know. Like I lived in my masculine for an awful long time, and it's still stuff that I'm actually working through now. You know, I'm still doing lots of work around allowing all parts of me to be a thing, to accept that some days I'm not high energy, I'm not in good form. Doesn't mean that that I'm depressed. You know, it's allowing all those things. And when we talk about this, kind of leads me on to the construction industry. We're going to go back to your family, but the construction industry as a whole has a stigma of it's this masculine, like energy. And I look at what you're doing, and I think that is actually starting to bring the flow of the feminine in. Is that something that you know that you're doing, or is it just that how you're showing up? Like, where do you sit? How do you feel it within your energy showing up?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not one who. I suppose I'm not really. I'm going to talk about awareness, but like in tune with masculinity, femininity, or like whatever else. For me, it's probably a lot more basic than that in terms of just like I agree with what you're saying, but like in terms of like feminine energy, to be honest, I couldn't even tell you what that is. Like what's
so like being creative, your intuition, vulnerability.
Well then yes, because I suppose I'm tapping into like the first question I'll ask my clients is what kind of life do you want to have, and then we'll reverse engineer it and build a business around it. Yeah. So I suppose you're right in that sense where I'm saying no, like let's talk about what really matters to you, what makes you tick, because we're all talking about business here. You know what I mean? So I suppose you're right.
You are doing it. I think you're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what because I have been, obviously, we've been planning this episode for so long, we've had lots of time to think. But,
yeah.
I think you're doing with this blueprint, I think you're doing both sides, the masculine and the feminine, without even realising you're doing it. And I think that's genius, without you stumbled into it in an industry.
Ask me again, I'll say yeah.
This part has
cut that out. Yes, I'm totally into it. That was designed, perfectly
that's
designed.
what I meant. But it's an industry that, like I came from an industry that is made up of 70% women, right? The equine industry. There's 72% females in that industry. So what energy do you think is led in the equine industry?
Yeah.
Fucking masculine.
Okay.
It's awful.
Right.
It is the most toxic masculine energy, and it's all go, do. You fall down, you have to get back up, you're not a show motion. It's hard. For me, the construction industry would look like that, from the outside, it's...
It is like, because the big, like there's other guys doing what I'm doing, well there is one guy in the island of Ireland, no one in Northern Ireland doing it, South of Ireland, yes. UK there's a few guys, but nobody's doing it with the, I can say this with confidence, even people in America and stuff, nobody is doing it with the approach that I'm doing it with.
Yeah, with the intention.
Yes, because it's like their whole thing is working more, more input again, more output, that sort of way. It's like work more, earn more, and then do with that certain, have more options in with that. But I'm sort of saying mine are touching on pain points and what's wrong with the industry and what's wrong with how you're living your life, and then fixing that. Growth is the last aspect of our program. Like it's time, profit, control, and we do mindset, systems, and then growth is the last. Because it's like, let's get what you're doing now and make it easy, and then you're now out of the business. You're looking at it from down and working on the business rather than in it, and then you can facilitate, do whatever you want with growth. You can grow or you can do whatever you want, but you need to have the business and everything working right first. People don't want to hear that. People say, I want to grow the business, and I'm going, but if you grow your business, you want to grow your problem. So. It is taking them out of the business and getting them to look at it from a different angle.
Zooming out.
Yeah.
And looking at it's building strong foundations. That's what you're doing. You're teaching people to do that. Once you've got that, then scalability, growth would be much simpler. Not maybe business life is hard anyway, but at least if you have strong foundations and have a clear vision of where you're going.
Yep.
Throughout all the years of doing this, like you've surely met challenges, like being away from the family, massive personal challenge.
Yep.
How do you navigate that? Like, how do you cope with that? Like, what has really helped you stay clear on what you want to go towards?
Probably not being funny, Margaret Rose.
I know.
I'm not collecting my 20 quid for saying that either, but it's like I've been given the space to do that. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, yes, don't get me wrong, there was hard times when I was away a lot, and Margaret Rose had the house regimental. Like I touched on this again the other day, but it was like Margaret Rose is a brilliant mother, but obviously does the household, and when she's on her own, she then steps up. And it's like blinkers on, same the way I am with business. It's like, so she steps up and does what she has to do and does it very well, and never understood it was a difficult job, and never understood how difficult it was until I had to do it there recently. Do you know what I mean? But yes, so there was never any pressure for me to get home or be home, but things just started to break. Relationships started to break down. The kids started to suffer, and then I just didn't. I had that awareness and went, you know what? I'm not enjoying this, and it's not. And I don't get me wrong. It took for me to get to the top of that, where I wanted to go, and then go. alright, is this what this was for? Like, no, not for me. Because there was always something missing for me, which was like the creative side. Like, it's funny me, like saying about my brother, like obviously that's, you know, it's I have that bit of creativity in me. Like what I've enjoyed most of this is creating and helping people, which if you asked me a few years ago, like helping people and somebody saying it to me, I would go like, dead on, do you know what I mean? Like you're getting paid for it or whatever, like, so, you know, that's really the driver. But genuinely the helping people thing is a big one for me. But I suppose, yeah, being given the space to go and do what I need to do, because Mark Rose had the belief in my vision and belief, and don't get me wrong, it's changed a million times. This is where we're going, this is what we're going to do, this is what's happening, and she's just like, yeah, no
She's
problem.
solid as a rock though, like,
Yeah.
you know, your relationship is goals, honestly. Like, I love watching these. These are a unit.
Yeah.
These have went through some hard times.
Yeah, and I think that's why.
You know, and these are just class. Like, and she can give me 20 quid too for
yeah.
all proceeds will donate to coffee. Like, no, I wouldn't brag to say she's great, like she is, but I love that she's your rock, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it wasn't always like that. Like that's what I'm saying. It's okay to say now, like, you know, oh, we're brilliant, like, but it was very unsteady in the beginning. Like we were very young and had kids really young, like, so like, navigating through parenthood when you're still growing up is difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like, fortunately, we have a very, very good family foundation on both sides, which helped a lot. But you know, the two of us navigated our way through it, and somehow came out the other end, and now we're in a much different place. And
what do you think was the thing that got you through? Like, how you communicate? Like, are you? Like, I'm really picking at you now. Like.
I don't know, because I'm just thinking, like, from way back, like we've been together I can't even remember how long we're together now, but it's like must be 14 years, like, easy. Do you know what I mean? It's 13 years, must be coming on 14 years, because Casey was 15, so she was 2 when we met. So yeah, like, you're talking good, near enough 14 years there. So it's been a long time, like, it's been a long road, like, and we literally, like, grew up together almost, you know what I mean? Like, we became adults and done what we've done, like, together. So I don't know, just, I suppose, I'll be honest, probably the kids, because both of us had the same attitude of, like, you know, with children, and the children come first, and, you know, we'll have to get through whatever we have to get through, because we have a responsibility to do that. For me anyway, I know Margot is the same, so she's a mother first before anything else. So so I suppose the kids in a way.
Just strength within that family unit.
Yeah, and again that probably came from both of our families. So it's because
100%.
my family again was a very strong unit and much smaller. Like there's only 4 of us, and then Margaret's family there's 155 of them.
There's an endless amount, but they're all like
yes,
they're
all tight, they're all close.
Tight, like,
yeah.
so tight, but I love that.
Obviously, every family comes with problems on both sides and everything else, but like they're still all there together. So
like, though it's clear that both childhoods shaped who you are, and you have that support around you. And it all helps, because relationships aren't easy, business isn't easy, but it's navigating and getting the tools. And I love that now you're looking at how you do your business to help other people, you know, and the version of what you see as success for you is bound to have changed then. Like, I mean, I think there's success is different to everybody, but I'm sure your markers have changed over the years.
Yeah, so like it's not just through other people that I come up with time profit control. I wanted time profit control, but I wanted that for my life. You know, I wanted to have the time to do what I want. I wanted the profit to be able to have the experiences, and then the control over business to be able to control over my own life. That's what I wanted. So like again, like I only sort of that light bulb just clicked there now of like that wasn't what I designed for other people. That was what I designed for me, and that's what I'm doing for others now. Do you know what I mean? So that was a bit of a revelation there, but like. But like it is crazy how that comes around. But yeah, like again, if you had have asked me, because I'm sure people who know me over the years and me saying like I'm dedicated life to help people, were like what happened to him? Like where did that come from?
My next question was like, when did the self-development start and all? So this kind of leads in.
Self-development started in 2017, 2018 maybe, but didn't have, because I think like self-development and stuff is kind of still a new thing. Really, like I think so. So when I done it, nobody else around me was doing it.
Yeah.
And I was in a very different place doing it and didn't get much out of it because I was like, I don't see how I can implement all these things with what's going on in my personal life, you know what I mean, and work life. Just couldn't get my head around it. So dabbled in it and then came away from it for a long time, and then business drove it to me, you know, business. I always just wanted to be better and learn how to do things differently. So I went from like, you know, a mindset thing, and that's what gave me the awareness to begin with, and then I was more focused on the business and developing the business side of things and how it works, so we went into it that way. So yeah, it did start all that time ago, and I think like I'm not just gonna have a book that I just put on the shelf there before we started here.
Pretend that you're reading it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I showed the kids the other day because it is mental. So I dated it and had like a vision or like a goal statement. And I was like, I'm so happy and grateful now, blah 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 blah. I was like, I don't do it anymore and haven't done it in a long time, rightly or wrongly, but it described a lot of things, and that was in 2018. I haven't touched it since then.
Yeah.
And I'd say 70% of it has happened.
Yeah.
Which is, that's like the power of, what is it, like
It's the power of writing it down.
yeah, but like that manifestation thing and all, like you say that, even in my program, we have a whole mindset section, but I don't market it, again, rightly or wrongly, because I think for our industry,
When you say the word
mindset, they're going to go like, fuck off. You know what I mean?
But like,
Very furry.
the thing is, do you know what I love? Like the group that we met in,
Yeah.
what I love about it is that it is all about personal development and mindset and everything. And I love that it's the majority of the people in it are men.
Yeah.
I think that is.
But the similar thing about all those people in that group are they're all very down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because the setting that was being created for them, the meeting.
Like, I mean, well, it's the energy of Kieran as well. I think Kieran is like, I said Kieran needs to start a Tinder or something. Because of who he attracts in, you know. He created a space and people are drawn to that energy, and it's whether you believe in energy or not, but it is, everything is that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go into the sea, everything is stripped away from you and you're just you. And I mean, one day we were in, and I looked at you and I was like, we've been in here for fucking ages and nobody was making sense to get out. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And you were like, oh, I'm not fucking saying to get
I'm going first. Like.
And I was like, fuck you, man, like, can we not get out?
Yeah, you go if I go, go.
No, I'm not being first.
I know.
But there's still a stigma around mindset in certain places. There's still a block for people. They think they don't need it, but there's spaces that exist. But you're bringing it to your industry and framing it in a way.
Yes, because I always say, like, when I talk about mindset, and maybe I shouldn't do this, but I approach it and say, now, before you judge what I'm saying here, it's not like cut pictures out of a magazine, stick it on the wall and hope it's going to happen. The mindset stuff I'm talking about is how to approach something from a different angle with a different thought process. So it's like, yes, you need to have a vision for the next year, 3 years, whatever, because subconsciously you need to be working towards that, and everything you do will again subconsciously move in that direction. But you need to map out the vision and the plan, and that's where the mindset stuff comes from. And it's like, in the construction industry, it's the limiting beliefs. It's like, but that's not possible for what we do because I don't know anybody else that does it. You go, but that doesn't mean that.
It doesn't mean it's not possible.
But you don't know anybody that does it in Northern Ireland, which is the size, and you go to like any other country and it's humongous. So it's like just because you haven't experienced that firsthand doesn't mean it's not possible. And now I am doing that. I've created that. Like I can't tell you the satisfaction, and that's something that I was seeking for so long, and then finally found it was like I was always looking for something else. Like what's next? So I done climbed the corporate ladder, wasn't for me. Then went into property because I was always so passionate about it, still am, but like it's still something didn't just click. And I always thought that I was a bit of an introvert. I remember sitting in one of Kieran's first events and saying, like, it was literally one of his first Natural Resilience events, and saying like, I'm a wee bit antisocial. And somebody made a point and says like, no, I think it's just the fact that you're not in the right room. And I was like, see, ever since someone said that, I was like, fuck, you're right, because there's us talking now, and it's like I could talk all day.
Are you like an introverted extrovert?
I don't know. Explain it.
So like in the right rooms, I am.
Yes.
This is me, right? Like everybody thinks that I am like. everybody would say I'm a real people person and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's the right rooms.
Yes.
And when I'm not in the right rooms, a different version.
I stumble out in a much more basic language of like, if someone wants to have small talk with me, I'm thinking about, I'm not even in the room with them, I'm gone, like I'm in a, like going, what time is it and where, what's, I mean, or else they're talking to me and there's no
I
noise.
can't leave now, like I mean if this
But it's like when you have a conscious conversation with somebody and you're talking about something meaningful or helping somebody towards a challenge or whatever, it's like, yes, do you know what I mean? Like, I can talk all day.
But I love that, right? Because that is my whole being. And I know that my thing is that I ask lots of questions because I love to understand.
Yes.
And I love to understand how people, how they think and how they show up. Like I am fascinated by it. Which is amazing, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword because now
I get that, yeah.
I struggle with who my people are sometimes, or you know, I struggle in rooms that I'm in and I'm like, Jesus, this isn't where I'm meant to be. I can't be the person talking about the weather.
Yeah.
I can't be, you know, that doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
And I think the more work I do, the more awareness I have. And now, would I go back to having no self-awareness? Absolutely not. But sometimes I'm like, Jesus, sometimes it is a bit.
Yes, I
double-edged sword.
Yes, because there's some, I haven't got a big friend group, and people who are close to me will say to me, like, Mark, you look absolutely fucking miserable. Like, oh, you're this big, this fucking like face is just no emotion. People are talking to you, like, no, like, you don't look very approachable or anything. I'm like, I know, but like, but that's just my face. I'm stuck with it. Sorry, like.
For Mark
I know. But like saying Margot is the opposite. Margot could talk to anybody and get on with anything and just like loves talking about like everything and anything, you know, and I just be sitting beside her. So, but like it is also like it's not good too. You know, it's almost like a selfish thing where unless you're interested, like it's you're not, and it's you feel like that is like a selfish approach where if you're not interested, then you're not interested. But it's like that's not nice either. But it's true.
It's hard. Like I suppose it's how we look at it and perceive it, and it's what is the good that we can get from that interaction, and not everybody's going to be that deep level. But I know the things that fill my cup and the conversations that fill my cup.
I think I'm okay as long as they're not like
draining.
Negative, you know, and everything's like I always summarize it as called the struggling honours. Like I don't have any time for that. You know, every conversation. Even any conversations all oh my god. I can hear it go right. I need to get rid of that, or else. Yeah, how you getting on? Oh, I'm struggling on. You're like, why? Why are you struggling on? But like about what? And they're like, oh, it's just that. It's that kind of shit where everything's all flat out and it's awful. It's just like an automatic response people have, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I suppose we're horrible people now, really.
I'm just a loner. It's like what I'm turning into, just like running and cold water dipping and.
I'm just happiest in my own home with my family, and I think that's fine. Do you know what I mean?
I think you reach a time where. When you understand yourself and know what brings you the joy and being okay with that, we don't like we're not in our 20s anymore. We're not running out taking pints.
And that's not to say my house isn't kicking and screaming half the time like with 3 kids in it, but like it's still rather be there than somewhere else. even when it's not all going well, you know. But
so the self-development then. So you dipped in. What drove you to self-development? Was it for a personal thing?
Yeah, just
where you were at in your headspace.
I think what brought me to it was just wanting more. I always wanted, like I still do. Obviously, still very driven by having like a great life. Like I don't think it's enough. I'm not the kind of person that says if I don't get that, I'm not going to be fulfilled or happy. But I think I've always wanted a nice lifestyle, and it's not because I want a nice car or a nice watch or whatever else to show, but it's I want to have those experiences, because like I would sit in somebody's house, like my mentor sat in his house and I was like, holy shit, this is unbelievable. And I'm like, wouldn't it be great to have this swagger break? But it's like I want to experience this for myself, and then I can sit in and go, this is what I done. this is what I achieved. Do you know what I mean?
That's that's a sense of achievement. I get it. Like I love experiences. I love big things, but I love to get myself there.
Yes.
Like, I don't want somebody to hand me stuff. Like, my 40th last year, the girls were all freaking out about what to get me. And one of the girls says, "What are you doing? Do not get her a big thing. She will lose her life." And they're like, "Oh," she was like, "No. She's not know her. She likes working for it herself."
Yeah.
And then she knows, I did that off the bat. So like, they got me, and I love this, is probably the best thing I ever got. They got me vouchers for my favourite coffee places and a box filled with chocolate. And I was like, I'm winning.
No, that's mine. My parents always get me like hotel vouchers, you know, like that's what me and the kid, we can all go away and spend the night somewhere. Like that's what we love, but you know, because I'm hard to pick for too, I suppose, and fussy, but like it is just that. It's
your sense of achievement. Not that it's linked to like your self-worth or anything, but
exactly.
It's like,
yes.
Because it's too. It's
but I just, like Margaret's had that conversation the other day, saying I want, like, she's obsessed with Wimbledon. I don't know how, like where it came from, but all of a sudden she's obsessed with tennis. Like actually, like, didn't happen last year, but like this year she's just like all over it, and she's saying like, "Oh my God, I'd love to do centre court in Wimbledon." And somebody had said like, you know, you need to be a millionaire to do that, and she's like, and it was almost as if like that's not achievable. And I was going like, "Oh, you want to go to centre court in Wimbledon? No problem. That's it. So that's next on the list."
No challenge.
That's like that. No problem. We'll be there. And like it's like that.
And I know a guy actually. I can talk.
But it's like we love traveling, and that's like that again. That's sort of the life I wanted to engineer for myself. Was I want to be able to work from anywhere because we love traveling. And last year we done was it 10 trips, and I want to do 12 this year. So far we've done none. Oh, I think we've done one. But with everything going on, I know. So
life left.
That's it. So Margot's is finished treatment now. We've had a lot of complications coming out of treatment, and hopefully now, like we booked a holiday today for next year, but we're hoping to try and get away as soon as possible because that was the plan, you know. So.
But like her resilience and strength through this has been amazing.
Yeah, well, like being given that, like going from being perfect, like us all doing a half marathon last September, and then being diagnosed with cancer in February and a complete unknown and a complete whirlwind, and like both of us have been, Margaret was obviously more so than me, I just, where we had, like we passed ships, so where I was always, Margaret was always there, I need to do what I'm doing. Shit circumstances, yes, but then Margaret was needed to do what she needed to do, which was get through this and recover, and then I stepped up and done that for her, and like there was never a thought of like, oh, this is terrible, this is awful, what we have to do here. It was like, this is what's next. We have to get to the end of this, and then we can get on with it. Like that was the attitude the whole time. Not the first 2 days or 3 days, but like, don't get me wrong, it was mental, the fear and everything that went with it, but I always knew Margaret Rose like had that strength, and nobody ever knew that we needed it for that, but I always knew she was as strong as that. And what I've taken from all of this more than anything is Margaret Rose now realises that she has that strength where she never did before. She's very, very self-critical and low self-esteem, and it was like now she's like, Margaret Rose, throw anything at you, and she'd be like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Amazing.
Like the lesson, you're making me emotional because it's been a journey, like and you know how much I love her, and I have seen that lack of self-belief in her, and it's like, she's one of the most incredible people. Even before this, like I have always adored her, and she's just like sunshine. Like I could just put her in my pocket, but to come through that now, it's a tough lesson, but we have to look at things sometimes and go, right, well, what did this teach me? It was fucking hard, it was fucking awful, nobody wants to have to go through it, but look how strong I am now, you know, and even your relationship will have cemented even more, and I'm sure you're even more skilled at doing the housework now.
Oh, that's nice. Like Margaret's had to battle through cancer, and we're still not out of the weeds yet. Obviously, we don't know when. I think our next scan is October, so it's a bit of a waiting game now. But you know, we're obviously just being optimistic. But yeah, the hardest part of the whole thing was having to be at home. And it's like 3 kids is difficult. But like one thing she knows this. Like the one thing I hated is doing the washing. Like I could do anything tidy, clean, but the washing's one. And it's with 3 kids, it has to be so. You have to always be a step ahead. And like the kids come and going, "Where's my IP kit?" And I was like, "I know, where is it?" And they're like, "No, I gave it to you last week, and you're supposed to wash it." And then have it sit for me. I just walked in, everything was sitting everywhere all the time, and the kids had everything. And I was like, this is great, you know, but I was laughing on behind the scenes there, like, you know what I mean? So
she's like a wee fairy coming in, and you're like, Jesus, what happened?
So I had to literally I had to start putting things in the calendar and all, like when they were doing, like, I had to turn it into a business and be like, do you know what I mean? Like, I had to be like so organised, and then, like, it was good and bad timing. Obviously, I dropped all the corporate clients in December and went with full flow of this in January, launched on the 15th of January. We got that news in February, so I didn't have much time, but I just dropped a lot of clients. It was a lot of money that was coming into the house at zero, so from a lot to zero. And so it was, but I had to just keep going because, like, even the mentor, he mentioned to me, he was like, you have to keep marketing, don't stop. I know there's a lot going on, but like, and at the time I just wanted to go, like, fuck off, like, you haven't got a clue what I'm going through, but then he's right, do you know what I mean? And it's like,
unfortunately, the show kind of has to go on sometimes.
No matter how sick Margaret was, like, I was there every single, like, step when she was in hospital for the first 2 weeks. I slept on the floor beside her for 2 weeks, and like, that was non-negotiable. But it was like, I was still during the day sitting on the laptop beside her working.
But if you'd have been in the corporate stuff,
I couldn't have been there, and I would have had to leave with nothing, or at least I had something to build upon. So I was able to build, like, luckily enough, I had a couple of clients early doors, and I was able to just nurture that and really double down on them and build on the program, just do whatever I could do. And Margaret was there the whole time telling me to do it. You know, it was never like, why are you doing that? Because there's more going on here. It was like, Mark, piss off and do that and go make your video, and that was difficult, trying to be, I'm looking over the desk, like, trying to be like a different person on the screen when you're marketing, like, so guys, this is how I'm, like, all everything going on, you're like,
I know, but that's also like you going on camera and doing all that was all new
alien,
too, like,
alien,
that was skills, and it's been a journey of growth and confidence for you, which has been lovely to watch.
It has been, it's been strange, and like, I just, like, again, I'm not one of these people that overthinks things. I just get on with it, and it has to be done, and it's just another thing to do, and I always strive to be the best at whatever I do. So if it's making a bit of content or video, I do it to the absolute best of my ability, and like, you know what I mean, it's just, I don't stop to think about what's going on too much, because if you did, you'd probably go and see him. You know?
Question, obviously, because that's my role in life, but when you're saying, you know, you just get on with it and stuff, have you ever, like, we talk about your clients and limiting beliefs and stuff, have you faced it, limiting beliefs? Or have you always just went, this is what I want to get? I love reverse engineering.
And that's what I do. That's what the program's about too.
My mind goes to that, like, where I want to get there. But I've only learned that that's how my mind works over the last couple of years, and it's unlocking levels of that as you do more work on yourself. But have you ever had the limiting beliefs? I think anyone would be lying if they said they didn't have a limiting belief, but I think again it's the awareness to say, well, like, why not? And maybe sometimes I set a target or go and go, I probably won't achieve that, and that's me putting limitations on it already. But it's like, I could achieve it, maybe just not in the time. Like, I suppose I don't see any limitation to what I can do. How I'm going to do it, yes, I would sometimes doubt or say, like, can I really do it? And don't get me wrong, like, the doubt I've had in this last 7 months creeps in all, like, that happens to everybody every now and again. You that doubt, is this really the right thing? Or you have a bad month of not getting, you hit your targets and you go, this isn't working. But then you go, you literally have to, like, it's nuts. You have to talk to yourself and go, well, is this possible? Like, no, it's not, and why isn't it? And have that battle with yourself. But you just have to go away and go for a run and go, fuck, I'm back, you know. Let's go. Are you running much these days, or?
I'm trying to, obviously. Well, believe it or not.
What have you done?
So I've done, when this happened in February, like, suppose from Christmas, obviously I was training and that, and lost 6 stone.
Which was unreal.
Yeah, and then at Christmas time, went on holiday and came back and sort of fell by the wayside, but kept it off. And then February, when this all happened, I just fucked it out the window and then was back. So I can put nearly 3 stone on in a short space of time, because when I can do everything. I'm all or nothing. When I go off one, I can thoroughly go off one. Like I remember Ben Gallon. So he was my coach for a long time.
What did you do?
And he's just told me, like, he's been like, Mark, how could you eat that much? Or like, he's like, you just, like, I go, like, weigh yourself one day and weigh yourself next day. And I was like, how the fuck is that humanly possible? It was Ben when I do it.
I'm
like,
dedicated.
You know what I mean? I do everything to my full capacity, like, and he's like, fuck. So like maybe not the best client to have in that terms, maybe not the most coachable, but he was fantastic, absolutely transformed my health and awareness around that. Yeah, incredible. And what he's building there is amazing. But so I sort of said to myself when this was all going on that I'm going to end up back to 24 stone. I think I was at my heaviest, like.
Yeah.
So as of yesterday, I'm back down to what I was when I lost another. So I was 20 stone again in like April. In April, I think, and then back. So I've lost 3 stone since April.
Amazing.
Through another coach, Tommy, at Priority Fitness.
Unreal.
Yeah. So he done a 100-day program. So 100 days finished on Monday, but I'm going to see him tomorrow hopefully. So I just kept going, but again, like 3 everything was going. He was like, Mark, you sure? And I was like, yeah, because of it. Like, yeah, because there's nothing worse than going through all that and being hungry at the same time.
Nobody's like, are you like a hangry person?
Oh,
like,
shocking. Yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. Like, yeah, it is. So that, but again, I had the awareness to say, if I don't do this, I'm going to end up, like I put on like so many stone, I was like, I'm going to be back to exactly where I was in this whole year of getting that off, is going to be back to square one.
Yeah.
So again, it's just having the awareness and going like, and yes, it's tough, but then if you think about it, like, because you can easily say to yourself, you know what, you do have a difficulty if you're going through that, just go and have a chili, but like,
what goes on, no, like,
do you know what I mean?
It's a story you tell yourself,
yeah,
and it can take a fucking hold,
yeah,
if you don't grab it, like.
Yeah, and the weight loss was the example of the kids. All my kids are all fit and healthy. Margot's the same, like always has been. I don't know what happened. Like mine just spiraled out of control. It was business.
I was going to say,
I was just eating out constantly.
Yeah.
And then come home the weekend, and Margot was making dinners and the kids all healthy, and I come home like, we're going here, we're going there, we're doing this, we're doing that. Out of guilt of not being there all week and just plowing them with food and gifts and whatever else. But I could see my health was taking a hit. I was setting a terrible example. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, no, my kids, they're going to follow suit, and that's not happening,
No, you don't want that.
So that's why I get myself out in the hole. So it done.
I mean, it did well. Like, we agreed the whole. Like, I'm saying, like, that's why I'm running so much at the minute, because I was like, I need to lock myself in.
Yeah.
Because I'm not riding horses anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like that base fitness that I always had, that always carried me through, doesn't exist anymore.
And that was the same with being on the tools for me, and then coming off the tools and sitting in the arse all day. It was like your calorie expenditure's gone. Like,
and you seem to be hungrier when you're sitting at a laptop.
It's boring.
It's finding the balance and finding what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
To wrap us up, this has been brilliant. I've absolutely loved it. What are you most proud of over the last 34 years?
34 years.
Yeah, what are you most proud of?
I suppose there's still a lot of work to do in my head, but I suppose getting to where I am, I'm proud of how far I've came, but more so this last 6 months of doing this is what I'm probably and my family. Do you know what I mean? Like the kids and what we've built that family unit definitely is what I'm most proud of, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, I love to see on a Sunday where you go.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's my new recommendations of places, because I know you want to go to like the best spots, so I'm like stalking you for that.
Look, I've so much more to do, and that's okay. I don't think it's unhealthy, but like I've definitely got a lot more to do. But I've said, I always sort of had in my head that my 30s was when it was going to happen. This decade of, that's the time. The rest of the time is learning. Now I'm sort of like, right, now I know. Now I've never been more clear on how I'm going to get to where I want to go.
And who you are.
Yeah, that's it. And having the awareness and everything else. So yeah, I've sort of big things coming, I suppose.
So for anybody that would be interested in working with you and find out more, where would they get the info?
Marc Watters, construction coach. Instagram is probably the first port, or LinkedIn, just Marc Watters. So Mark with a C and 2 T's and Watters for the spelling.
I got told off for my autocorrect putting a K in on my post. It's like, oh, here, first mistake.
But that's what happens. It's common, But yeah, so yeah, anybody who's has a successful business in construction but is frustrated and knows they can do more, or has more to offer, or just unhappy with how things are going and need a change, and I'm there. Do you know what I mean?
I know there's big things coming. This is only the start, and if you can do what you've achieved this year with everything that's been going on,
Yeah.
it just shows resilience and strength, you know, that you'll just go from strength to strength as you keep moving through this, and your passion for it
Yeah.
shines through. And this has been an absolute pleasure.
Yes, I enjoyed that. Yeah, thank you.
It's good. Thank you so much.